how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, still there?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
My pleasure.
Oh, yeah, it's great to be able to catch up with you again. We talked a few years back about the latest Cradle album, and it's just great to be able to talk to you again, and for such a really cool thing that's going to be coming up here on All Hallows Eve of all days, to be able to see you guys playing at St. Mary's Church for a live stream. I think this is such a cool concept that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's been something that's been quite a while in planning. I know other people have been doing live streams, but you've got to realise we're an international band. We have people in different countries, so it's been quite a journey to get this to where it's got already. And the fact that obviously there's lockdowns around the country and travel corridors are being shut here, there, and everywhere. Originally it was happening in July, then it got moved to August because the venue was having structural engineering done to it. And then by the time they said, it's going to be in September, we were like, fuck it, we might as well do it in October and put it out on the 20th anniversary of the release of Midian and make a spectacle of it. But yeah, it's obviously we've got a film crew and our crew and, stage hands, and it's quite a project to actually get to where it's got. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be great.
Oh, that's just so fantastic to see. And yeah, I mean, obviously, 2020 not being the year any of us expected, it's great to be able to see a show happening like this on the day that it's happening, at the venue that it's happening. I mean, it seems very Cradle of Filth to be able to pull something off like this.
Well, yeah, like I said, it was due to happen earlier, but we just thought, to be safe, to avoid any problems with the venue or anything else, we decided to do it, combine everything. We usually do a show around Halloween. It's always very special for us, obviously. So we just thought we'd kill two birds with one stone.
Oh yeah, and it totally makes sense. And yeah, again, just the way I'm thinking about it too, it's just like it's really cool to see that the way it's come together. And yeah, I mean, even though the fact that it did get pushed back and pushed further back again now into October, now being able to have it with the 20th anniversary going on and just being able to celebrate that album and everything with that, I think it's so cool to be able to see what you guys are going to be able to do on this show. It's great to see that you guys are still able to make that all happen and make something that I know is just going to be a fantastic show to tune into.
Yeah, hopefully it will be.
So with that in mind, obviously with 2020 not being the year that we were expecting at all, where did the idea come from to do this at St. Mary's Church of all places?
Well, originally we were planning to do the show in the Czech Republic because they still can get a semblance of a live audience there. And playing in front of a couple of hundred people is obviously a lot better. It just contributes to the whole atmosphere. We were still going to film it, everything like that. It's just, it was going to be a little bit more of a live experience for us. But seeing as we've got a crew and film crew, and it's a lot easier for two people, a guitarist and a drummer respectively, to travel to England and have to quarantine than like at least 15, 16 other people having to do it. So naturally we thought, okay, let's do it in England. And St. Mary's Church, the Colchester Arts Centre, as it's formerly known, was our first choice because it's close to where I live. It's in the next town along, it's like 20 miles away. It's close to where a few members of our crew also live, so it's a lot better situated. It's a great venue. It sounds great. It looks great. And it's just like the perfect idea, really. It's the obvious choice.
Yeah, and it's so great to see that it did come together that way. I know a lot of great historic shows have happened at St. Mary's Church, and it's great to be able to see that Cradle of Filth is going to be able to add to that on the 30th of October. With that in mind, I mean, obviously with the band being international and not being able to get together at a moment's notice, like, what was it like trying to get this all together to even come up with one show? I mean, like, for doing a live stream and getting everything together, I mean, how much work was it to be able to, like, come up with the idea of what you want to do for the live show, the set list, things like that? I mean, how much work is going into it?
A lot. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of logistics have to be sorted from the very get-go. Because obviously the people that run the venue probably were struggling a lot with the whole isolation thing, as in only so many people can work at any one time. We're experiencing that again in England. It's been reduced down to a capacity of 6, but that doesn't include work, and the show is technically work. So that's been a struggle to get over. And obviously working around the restorative work that's being done at the venue as well was a pain in the arse. Yeah, I mean, just logistically, it's been difficult. The rest of the stuff is super fun, deciding a set list, talking to our lighting guy, talking to the people who are going to bring in the special effects and everything. I mean, we're going to be at the venue for 2 days before anyway. We've got a day's worth of rehearsal with our new keyboardist, who is also on the new album, which the mix starts for that on Tuesday for about possibly a month, who knows, because one good thing that came out of this whole lockdown scenario was that I was in a studio. I could travel to and from the studio. We were allowed to do that. We'd reduced working hours, but we spread the time over a longer period, which just made it way more relaxed, way more creative. We didn't have to worry about higher powers saying you're over budget or you're over time. We probably are over budget, but we worry more about the running out of time thing. And the album will probably be released, I guess, around March or April. Everything else, the artistic side of things, as opposed to the logistics side of things, is the fun part. But yeah, a lot of work has gone into it, and it's going to look great. It really is. It's going to be a real spectacle. And as I say, we're there 2 days before, and the day before the actual show is a proper dummy run through, so we can try out the lights, we can try out camera angles, we can get it right, we can get it so like a extended sound check almost.
Oh, that's so fantastic to hear, especially that first part, being able to have a couple days to be able to make sure that everything is going to go the way that it should, being able to get all the kinks out and making sure that it's going to be the best show possible. And now hearing that the album is nearly complete now and is on track to be an early 2021 release, I'm so excited to hear that. And I really love the fact that you guys were able to have more time to be able to spend with it too. I mean, obviously some great albums were made under pressure, but so many great albums were made without pressure too. And the fact that you get to be more creative, be able to try more ideas during these hard times, I can't wait to hear that final product coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say it was the best record we've written by far. It's got everything. I couldn't really describe it because it's got a bit of everything about it, including some experimentation. I'm not supposed to be talking about the record, but that's all I can say. I mean, even when it comes down to the fact that I'm supposed to be talking about the record, it's going to be very hard to describe it. I always prefer to say, just go and listen to the fucking thing, That's what my going to be this time round. Go and listen to the fucking thing.
Oh, totally. I can't wait to be able to check that out and hopefully be able to talk to you again coming up in that month's time to be able to discuss more about the album and really see what was behind it.
Yes, I reckon we're going to be looking at March, maybe April. So with that in mind, I guess all the interviews will be starting to become happening around like the second week, literally when everybody comes back from the Christmas holidays. If there are Christmas holidays this year, I don't mean to be a Scrooge and a humbug, but that's a possibility too, that we're all in lockdown over Christmas. How fun's that going to be? But yeah, I believe that all the press is going to be starting to kick off the second week in January. And I think that's a good time because it gives us enough time to get the album finished, mixed. We have to go to Latvia to film the video as well, the first video. So that gives us up to Christmas. And even though we have been in lockdown and we have been doing an album, we've been, extremely busy anyway. I mean, there's a lot of other things that are going on in the periphery, including tours. I mean, we've had a tour booked, a big tour with 3 other big bands that was destined for this September. And at the moment, we're looking at probably, I can't testify to that, who can, but we're looking at probably next September for this tour to be happening. Whether or not other shows will happen for that, who knows? How long's a piece of string?
Oh, totally. Yeah, and like you were alluding to, I mean, it's really hard to say what's going to happen with this year because nobody expected a year like 2020 to happen the way that it has and the way that it's affected everybody, and the fact that it could go into 2021 as well.
Bill Gates did.
Oh, sorry.
Bill Gates did.
Oh, sorry, it's kind of cutting out.
I said Bill Gates knew.
Oh, Bill Gates. That is a very fair point. But thinking about that as well too. I mean, obviously, with you guys thinking ahead to the future, thinking about that new album, thinking about that huge tour, hopefully that will be happening next year. When you get to come back to this side and what's coming up now, a little over a month away now with the show at St. Mary's Church. I mean, when you are having that fun time, being able to think about the set list, the production, and all that stuff. I mean, what's it like to be able to put together a set list when you know that you have a new album on the horizon?
Well, funny you should say that. I literally, no word of lie, I've just been texted by Marthas, the drummer, about that very thing, because we're looking at the set list literally even as we speak. It's true. I'm looking at it now and going, yeah, it's just, we're still in debate about it. We want, obviously as a band, we want to play as much as possible. And it literally is going to be the only show we play this year. And it's going to be such a big event. I mean, we're going to having to fly people over. They're going to be here for a week before. I mean, the Czech people, they might even have to, if it may not happen, but at the moment as it stands, they'll be quarantining for a fortnight before. I mean, they'll be holed up in a hotel for 2 weeks to make this happen. So it's a big deal. And subsequently, that's why we're still wrestling over the finite details of what we want to play. We've got a huge discography, we want to give the people varied stuff. We also want to give them something, they haven't heard before, as well as the favourites. I think we'll probably spend more hours on that than anything else.
Oh, I can totally imagine that too. I mean, just like you said, I mean, there's 12 albums right now, and then the 13th on the way coming up next year, and just like all the great finer details to make sure that this is going to be such a great show. I mean, when you finally get to see the other guys and you finally get to start doing that soundtrack or sound check, I can only imagine how great of a feeling that'll be to, even though it's going to be the only show of the year, just being able to play a show this year.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I've seen the guys, but one by one. That's how I've only been able to see them. Like, I saw Martin in February before the lockdown, Richard just before the lockdown, and then I didn't see anybody else until, the bass player, Dan. Dan didn't come until, just before the end of July, and then our new keyboard he went in, and then Ashok. So yeah, it's been a strange year, and I've seen everybody, but briefly. I mean, I didn't want to take any of their time up either. It's like I popped in for an hour of coffee, discussed how things were going, and left. I wasn't going to get in the way. There's no point me being there when they're concentrating on their parts, and it's not like normal where they can we're flying you in, you can leave when you're finished. It's like, we're flying you in, you've got to leave on this day. I know that that caused considerable amount of hardship for Ashok, as he literally had to get a ton of stuff done in very little time. 2 weeks. It's not a lot of time for the amount of stuff that we put into this record.
Oh, I can definitely imagine so. And, it's, just considering everything that's happened this year, along with it, it's just like, I'm so curious to hear how that album is going to turn out. And, the fact that you guys are actually going to be able to get together, be able to play the show, and just be able to have that great feeling again until things get back to some kind of normalcy. So, with all of that in mind, I mean, obviously, with so many plans being canceled or rescheduled, I mean, what was it like for you personally? I mean, being close to the studio, obviously, but how was it for you personally this year?
Well, it's been strange, like everybody's, but it's been quite relaxed. It's been good. I've been very creative. The weather's been very nice. The only shit thing was I was supposed to be going to Italy to meet my girlfriend, whom I haven't seen this year physically because of this. And we've had to cancel it this morning because it's just costing like an enormous amount of money for the 4 days I was going. And also she's having to, because of Spain's position, she had to go and get a special test and forms, and it was just getting ridiculous. And we just said, look, let's leave it for now. I know we're both gutted. I need a holiday. Before I start a mix, I always go away. It's just what it is. It is what it is, and you just have to suck it up and get on with it. It's not the end of the world, and we're not in prison. I mean, people say, oh yeah, I've had to stay in. It's like, you're not in fucking prison. You're in your own house. You've got Netflix. You can do what you want. You can go lie in the garden. You haven't got a garden, be on the balcony. I know. It's not as hard as it, as people make out. And it's been quite lenient here as well, because we've had great weather. And I live in a part of the country that has seen not a huge amount of the coronavirus. In fact, I know no one who's actually had it. Not to say that it doesn't exist, but yeah, it's been good. Obviously, there's been a few ups and downs. You know, I had a week where I was like here on my own, couldn't see anybody else. So that was a little, you know, started talking to my dialect and Alexa a lot.
Yeah, and you know, I love the fact you actually took advantage of everything this year. I mean, just like you said, like having to be in this quarantine and having to do things the way that we have been is not as hard as so many people are making it out to be. And you've actually proved that not only can you actually continue working on yourself and working on the band, I mean, the fact that the new album is nearly completed now, you're thinking about this show coming up on October 30th, being able to do that, hopefully 2021 with hopefully touring being able to happen again. I mean, you actually took advantage of this year rather than just wallowing like a lot of people have done this year.
Well, I think everybody just has to look at it as mutate and survive, you know, and that's how the future's going to have to be. We have to mutate and survive. The coronavirus is going to be doing that.
Yeah, it's so true. And yeah, I mean, there's got to be some kind of optimism and just trying to think of looking forward to the future and just like even for your own sanity, like just trying to look forward to the future and just like trying to better yourself when it comes to that too. And the fact that you've already said that you feel that the new Cradle Filth album is the best work that you guys have done. I mean, it might not have even come out the same way had you not had all this time to be able to sit down and work on it this year the way that you have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, totally.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I've got another caller coming in. I've got my next interview starting in a second.
Oh, sorry.
Can we just do one more quick, okay?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. I guess I was off by the time frame, but yeah, I think we're actually at a good spot where we can wrap things up. And yeah, being able to talk about this again, the live stream for Cradle of Filth coming up at St. Mary's Church, coming out the 30th of October. I can't wait to be able to check it out. I think this is such a cool show that you guys are going to be able to do, and everything looking forward to coming up in 2021 with the new album, hopefully the new touring, hopefully coming back to the States at some point. Again, it was great to be able to talk to you again. Thank you very much for that.
My pleasure. Thank you. It's been great talking to you as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm really looking forward to several months from now being able to hopefully talk again in detail about the new album. And yeah, once again, thank you for your time on this press day.
Thank you. Take care. Cheerio.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.